So there's this guy lying in a tent in 1227, dying from a hunting accident. His name is Genghis Khan. He's conquered half the known world, killed millions of people, and established the largest land empire in history. And he's about to make the single dumbest political decision ever. His son Ogedei is standing there, looking nervous. The other sons are outside the tent, probably sharpening knives and measuring the throne. Genghis coughs weakly and says, "After I die, you'll hold a kurultai." "A what?" Ogedei asks. "A big meeting where everyone votes on who becomes Khan." That sounds like a terrible idea. "It's tradition." "Father, you literally invented half our traditions last Tuesday. Maybe you can forget about this one." Lol, good luck, he dies. And the empire immediately begins the slowest, most predictable collapse in history. Now here's the thing. In our timeline, that voting system destroyed the Mongol Empire within 70 years. They held elections, people got mad, civil wars happened, and by 1300 the empire was 4 separate kingdoms that occasionally sent each other passive-aggressive letters. But what if Genghis wasn't an idiot? What if he said, actually voting is dumb? Ogedei, you're in charge, your son after you, forever, no takebacks. Well, buckle up, because this doesn't just change Mongolian history, this changes literally everything, and Europe never becomes Europe. Let's rewind. The year's 1227. Genghis Khan is dying in his tent. For context, he's just been on a hunting trip and his horse decided to let him be the first human to fly. Genghis was thrown off his horse. The greatest conqueror in history defeated by a horse. His sons are gathered. Jochi, Chagatai, Ogedei, and Tolui. These 4 men will eventually tear the empire apart fighting over who's in charge. But here's what actually happened in real history. Genghis dies without clearly naming an heir. He vaguely says Ogedei should probably be Khan, but it's not official. So the sons hold a kurultai, a big council meeting, to vote. This takes 2 years. 2 years, during which nobody's running the empire. Conquests stop, administration halts. It's like if a company's CEO died and everyone just stopped working for 2 years to argue about the new CEO. Finally, Ogedei became Khan in 1229. Great, the empire is back on track. Then Ogedei died in 1241. The Mongols are literally in the middle of conquering Europe. They've crushed Poland, they've destroyed Hungary. Vienna is 3 days away. The Europeans are writing their wills. Then a messenger arrives. The Khan is dead. Everyone has to come back to Mongolia to vote. Batu Khan, who's leading the invasion, looks at Vienna on the horizon, then at the messenger, then back at Vienna. "We have to leave," he asks. "Yes, right now. Yes, we're winning. I know. We're 3 days from Vienna. I understand, sir. This is the dumbest rule we've ever had. Would you like to file a complaint?" "With who? The Khan is dead." So Batu turns his entire army around. The Europeans can't believe their luck. They thought God saved them. Nope, just bad Mongol election laws. But what if Genghis wasn't stupid? Let's go back to that tent in 1227. Genghis is dying. Ogedei is there, and this time, Genghis has an idea. "Ogedei," Genghis says weakly. "Yes, father. I'm changing the rules. No more kurultai, no more voting. You're the heir, your eldest son after you, then his eldest son, forever." Ogedei blinks, "But father, the kurultai is tradition. The kurultai is stupid," Genghis interrupts. "Every time we vote on something, someone gets murdered. I've conquered from Korea to Persia. I'm not letting my idiot grandchildren vote it away because they can't agree on lunch." "That's actually very reasonable." "I know. Now write this down before I die. And tell your brother Chagatai he's not getting the throne. He's going to be upset. He's always upset. That's why he's not Khan material. He has the emotional stability of a wet cat." "Should I tell him that specifically?" "No. Just tell him the throne goes to you. Primogeniture, boom. Done. No arguments." "What's primogeniture?" "I just invented it. It means the eldest son inherits. The Europeans do it. Works great for them. The Europeans are weak and divided." "Yes, but they don't have civil wars every time a king dies." "Well, sometimes they do, but less often. The point is, no more voting." Chagatai bursts into the tent 5 minutes later. He's heard rumors. "I heard you're doing something stupid with the succession," he says. "Ogedei is the heir," Genghis says flatly. "It's decided." "What? We're supposed to vote." "Not anymore. This is outrageous. I demand a kurultai." "Chagatai, there's not going to be a kurultai. That's the whole point. I want a recount." "There was no count. That's literally the entire idea. This is tyranny. I conquered half of Asia. What did you think this was, a democracy?" "I'm telling mother. Your mother already agreed to this. She thinks you're annoying too." Chagatai storms out. He'll sulk for years, but he won't rebel. Nobody rebels against Genghis Khan, even when he's dying. The man's reputation is basically a weapon at this point. Genghis dies in 1227. Ogedei becomes Khan immediately. No 2-year delay, no arguments. No civil war. The empire keeps running like a well-oiled siege engine. 1241 rolls around. Ogaday is still alive because in our timeline, he drank himself to death partly from stress. But with less succession drama, there's less stress. Less stress means less drinking. He's still drinking, this is the Mongols we're talking about, but not death by alcohol poisoning levels. The Mongols are invading Europe. They've crushed Poland. Hungary is in ruins. They're approaching Vienna. Ogaday doesn't die, the messenger doesn't arrive. The Mongols don't turn around. They keep going. A Viennese guard is on the city walls watching the Mongol army approach. They're not leaving, he says to his companion. Why would they leave? The other guard asks. I don't know. I heard they always leave. Something about elections? Elections. Don't ask me. I'm just hoping they leave. They're setting up siege equipment. Okay, so probably not leaving. Probably not. Vienna falls in 3 weeks. The Holy Roman Emperor is writing very concerned letters. The Pope is praying intensely. None of it matters. Central Europe becomes part of the Mongol Empire by 1242. Now here's where it gets interesting. The Mongols were actually pretty good at running things. They loved trade. They protected merchants. They built roads. They had a postal system that was faster than anything Europe had ever seen. A Mongol governor arrives in Vienna. The local duke meets him, absolutely terrified. So, the duke stammers. Do we have to convert to whatever religion you have? What religion do you have? The governor asks. Catholic. Keep it. We don't care. Really? Really. Just pay your taxes and don't rebel. That's it? That's it. Oh, and we're building a road through your territory. Can we negotiate? No, but we'll pay your workers fair wages. You're going to pay them? Yes. Happy workers build better roads. It's not complicated. This is very different from what I expected. What did you expect? Honestly, more murder. There will be murder if you rebel. Otherwise, just taxes and roads, maybe a postal station. The Mongol Empire implements its standard policy, religious tolerance, local autonomy, and absolutely brutal responses to rebellion. You can worship whatever you want, keep your local customs, and govern your own cities. But if you rebel, they'll burn your city so thoroughly that archaeologists in 800 years won't be sure it existed. By 1260, the Mongol Empire stretches from Korea to Germany. It's absolutely massive. Ogaday's son, Guyuk, is now Khan. The Silk Road is booming. A merchant can travel from Venice to Beijing using the same passport. Well, technically he needs 17 different local permits, but it's all Mongol territory, so nobody robs him. Then in 1347, disaster strikes. A Mongol trading ship docks in Italy carrying grain, silk, and rats. The rats have fleas. The fleas have plague. The Black Death arrives. But here's the twist. The Mongol Empire has a functioning postal system across all of Eurasia. Information travels fast. A doctor in Italy writes to the Mongol administrator, people are dying, black spots, fever, very bad. The administrator reads this and immediately writes to the next city. Close your gates. Quarantine incoming ships. This is serious. Within 2 months, every Mongol-controlled city in Europe has received instructions. Quarantine the sick. Burn the bodies. Wash your hands. Which is actually new advice for medieval Europe. Does it stop the plague? No. This is the Black Death. It doesn't care about your administrative efficiency, but it's less catastrophic. Instead of killing half of Europe, it kills maybe a third. Still terrible. Still millions dead, but better. A Mongol health official arrives in Paris in 1348. We need to close the city gates, he announces. But what about trade? A French merchant protests, you'll be dead. Dead people don't trade very well. That's actually a compelling argument, I know. Now close the gates and stop touching the bodies. We're supposed to give them Christian burials. Burn them. That's against church law. The plague doesn't care about church law. Burn the bodies or I'll have the army do it. The gates close. Paris loses 30% of its population instead of 60%. The Parisians are upset about the deaths but also confused about why they're doing better than other cities. The year is 1400. The Mongol Empire is still unified. Europe has been part of it for 150 years. And something strange is happening. Technology is spreading. Chinese inventions reach Europe decades earlier. Gunpowder arrives in the 1250s. Printing press technology from Korea shows up in the 1380s. Mongol administrators see this stuff in China and think, hey, the Europeans could use this. A German blacksmith named Gutenberg is working in his shop in 1430. A Mongol official walks in. I hear you work with metal, the official says. Yes, sir, Gutenberg replies nervously. Good, we need you to make these. He shows Gutenberg designs for Korean movable type. What are these for? Printing books. The Khan wants more books. More books means smarter subjects. Smarter subjects means better tax revenue. That's oddly logical. Everything the Mongols do is oddly logical. That's why we run half the world. Can you make these or not? I think so, but great. You start Monday. Here's your contract. Payment is generous. Deadline is 6 months. What if I say no? Then we find another blacksmith, and you lose a very lucrative contract. Also, the Khan might be disappointed. What happens when the Khan is disappointed? Nothing good. So, Monday works. The printing press spreads across Europe by 1440. Books become cheaper. Literacy rates climb. The Renaissance happens faster because ideas spread faster. Leonardo da Vinci is working on his inventions in 1490. In our timeline, nobody funded his crazy ideas. In this timeline, a Mongol patron shows up. I heard you designed flying machines. The patron says, yes, but nobody will fund them. Leonardo sighs. I'll fund them. Really? Really. The Khan likes innovation. Build whatever you want. Just document everything. Even the helicopter? Especially the helicopter. That sounds interesting. What if it doesn't work? Then we learn something. That's still valuable. Start building. Leonardo nearly cries with joy. It's 1492. Christopher Columbus wants to sail west to reach Asia. But there's a problem. Spain is part of the Mongol Empire, and the Mongols already have trade routes to Asia. Very good ones. With roads and bridges and rest stops. Columbus goes to the Mongol governor of Spain. I want to sail west to reach the Indies, Columbus says confidently. The governor doesn't even look up from his paperwork. Why? To establish new trade routes. We have trade roads. You can walk to China. There are roads, paved roads. But sailing would it though? The governor finally looks up. You want to sail into unknown waters, possibly fall off the edge of the world, maybe fight sea monsters. There are no sea monsters. You don't know that. You've never sailed that far. Meanwhile, there's a road from here to Beijing. It has distance markers, rest stations, no sea monsters, guaranteed. But think of the glory. I'm thinking of the budget. Do you know how much ships cost? But request denied. Next. Columbus tries appealing to higher authorities. Every single one tells him the same thing. Why sail into the unknown when you can just walk to Asia? He dies in 1506, bitter and unfunded. So who discovers America? Chinese explorers, funded by the Mongol court, land in California in 1510. They find it interesting. They report back. The admiral writes, found large landmass, has trees, strange people, some gold, unclear economic value. Recommend further study but not urgent. The Khan reads this and files it under interesting but not immediately profitable. The Americas remain largely untouched for another 150 years. No smallpox epidemics, wiping out 90% of the population. No conquistadors. The Aztecs and Incas keep doing their thing, completely unaware how close they came to catastrophe. Fast forward to 1700. The Mongol Empire is still around. It's had problems, succession crises. Even with primogeniture, some Khans were incompetent. Regional rebellions, the occasional devastating plague, but it held together. One Khan, in the 1600s, was absolutely terrible at ruling. Everyone knew it. But he was the eldest son, so he became Khan anyway. Can't we just skip him? An advisor asked. That's how civil wars start, another advisor replied. We learned this the hard way. But he's spectacularly incompetent. I know, but he's also legitimate. We'll just work around him. For how long? Until he dies. He's 25. This is going to be a long reign. He ruled for 43 years. It was rough, but no civil war, so technically a success. Technology has been spreading steadily. The scientific revolution happened across the entire empire. Newton's laws are taught in Beijing and Paris simultaneously. Coal mining starts in England in the 1710s. Steam engines are invented. Mongol administrators see this and think, we should build these everywhere. 1900, the turn of the century, but there's nothing going on. No world wars, no economic crises, not much drama, honestly. Everyone's just living life under the Mongols. Jump to today, 2026. The Mongol Empire still exists. It's not called that anymore. It's officially the United Eurasian Commonwealth, because that sounds more modern and democratic. Even though it's still basically the Mongol Empire with better PR. It controls most of Asia, all of Europe, and about half of North America. It's the only superpower. There is no United States. There's no Russia as we know it. China exists, but as an imperial province. Britain is that island that complains about everything but ultimately does what it's told. The current Khan is descended from Genghis through 30-something generations. He's basically a constitutional monarch. Real power lies with an imperial parliament in Karakorum, which has grown into a massive city of 15 million people. Global politics is weird. Instead of West versus East, it's the Commonwealth versus the independent nations. South America, most of Africa, and Australia managed to stay independent because the empire decided they weren't worth the trouble. Technology? Advanced. The unified scientific community across Eurasia meant faster innovation. The internet was invented in 1975. Cell phones in 1983. Space travel happened earlier because you had scientists from London to Tokyo all working together. But here's the funny part. Everything is more connected but also more uniform. Everyone uses the same currency, the tokrik. Everyone drives on the right side of the road because some Khan in 1920 decreed it. The decree read, effective immediately. All vehicles will drive on the right side of the road. Anyone who doesn't will be fined. Yes, Britain, this means you. Britain complained for decades. The empire ignored them. Eventually they gave up. Everyone deals with the same Mongol bureaucracy, which has had 800 years to become perfectly, maddeningly efficient. Want to start a business? Fill out Form 847B. Submit it in triplicate. Wait 6 weeks. Get approval from 3 departments. But it actually works. Unlike some bureaucracies that lose your paperwork and make you start over, this one processes everything, slowly, but it processes. So because Genghis Khan abolished the Kurultai, his empire didn't collapse. Europe gets conquered. The Silk Road never closes. Technology spreads faster. The Americas get discovered late and colonized gently. And now your internet provider is technically a subsidiary of a company founded by descendants of Genghis Khan. All because one dying man said, you know what, voting is stupid.
Man, why do I need to throat sing to log into the Wi-Fi?